rolling. For now, time to get back to the track and just giving you a view of what you can see. If you've joined us early, then hey, we're grateful for that. If you have friends who want to join us later, well, please, of course, do get on board and watch the action with us right through the day. We are going to start off with the 200 meters for the girls finals, and this, of course, is in the C division. Just to give you a feel of it, that would be the age group of about 13 to 14 odd. And right through, of course, that'll be followed by the 200 meters boys finals in the C division again. Again, we're looking at that age group of about 13 to 14 years. Remember, the B category, of course, will be about 15 to 16 or 17-year-olds. And then, of course, you've got the A category, which would be about 17 to 18-year-olds. So here are our ladies getting ready. Let's very quickly run you through who's expected to perform here today. You've got Huang Tianai, who from Nanyang Poly. There's Krisha Shasini from Singapore Sports School. Eva Chia from Ahmed Ibrahim School. There's Haley Poe from Crescent Girls Secondary. Tamara Tiles from National Junior College. Rania Jan Ramachandra, who's from Topayo Secondary. And let's not forget, of course, we've got Heather Tan from Cedar Girls Secondary and Charlotte Tay from Nicholas Girls Secondary. So that's pretty much what we can expect. Just getting a view of young Charlotte there, is getting ready for the start. It's a staggered, well, start as well. Keep in mind the fact that we are starting off on a curve. And the girls just getting ready, warming up. It's going to be interesting to watch. Well, the first one is always the biggest event, and whoever starts off the event, there's always going to be butterflies in the stomach. And that's pretty much, well, how it rolls as far as the race is concerned. So let's get down to business real soon as the race kicks off. Well, as our young athletes get ready, there's a whole, well, science behind the starting blocks, which we, of course, will run through later on just for trivia's sake. But so essential for runners, so essential especially when they train. And if you wonder, most runners, of course, do possess, not most, but all runners do possess starting blocks at home, and that's something that they use for, you know, practice in their free time when they aren't with coaches or with their physical trainers. So a lot to expect here. As I said, it's the first event, and this, of course, is what leads to the break-in, or the first, well, event that will set the tone of the day. The record for this, for the schools, hasn't been broken since 1984, was set by Prema Govindan of Amokyo Secondary, and that was about 24.4 seconds. And there we go, right into the first race of the morning, the first race of the day. Remember, never easy to count the result in a staggered event. We do have, well, 3 leaders, and one just breaking away slightly.
Let's give all our girls a ring.
Very close to the first ones, but by the looks of things, it looks like, well, Haley Poe may have just edged out her nearest rivals. We will, of course, get a view of that in just a little bit. So Haley Poe Chuan of Crescent Girls Secondary, well, does set the tone here for the event. Well, just that slight kick at the end making a difference.
A great run for all the girls. saw earlier in the 200-meter C division girls finals. Coming up will be the 200-meter C division boys final.
So that was the 200 meters C division girls finals. Remember, well, the youngest of the entire pack here today, and inspirational to watch, because it's these runners who really decide, you know, as they go ahead in time, whether they want to become pro runners, whether they want to stick to the sport, you know, and pursue it through right through probably junior college or university days. So as we talk about that, it's time, of course, to get down to business now with the lads and the boys. 200 meters C division boys finals will be well underway in just a little bit. We'll get you acquainted with our lads on the track. Remember, the easiest way, of course, to spot them is by their tags. Each runner will always have a tag, and that's, of course, what is the decider. It's easy for the judges, more importantly, and the organizers as well, to have them organized through the tags. You've got two lads from Victoria in here, and there's three from Anglo-Chinese Independent. So just lining up with the lads. We'll get a quick view of them as well. Well, the only three schools that do not have, well, multiple representation here today is Hwa Chong Institution, Raffles Institution, and Temasek Secondary.
And we are all set, ready for our
And
next event, which is the 200-meter C division.
Right up there, and starting off at lane one, of course, it's Veerapan Aditya of Victoria School, joined by his teammate Yoshin Ki. Fu Zishuan of Hwa Chong Institution is lined up in lane 3. Then, of course, there's Raffles Institution's Wang Chi-yu, Sean Russell Tay, Aiden Yeo Lee Hung, and Kieran Chua will be in lanes 5, 6, and 7, and they are representing Anglo-Chinese School Independent, followed by Temasek Secondary's Lim Zi, which will be in lane 8. So that's pretty much what we can expect as far as the lads are concerned. Remember, of course, we've got chock-a-block events, so you hardly blink and you're going to miss one of them. We've got the 200 meters boys final, which kicks in late, and that's going to be followed by the girls. And then, of course, we move on to the 200 meters A division girls final, followed by the 200 meters well, boys division A, boys A division finals. So it's really chock-a-block events happening right here at the Singapore National Stadium. So Veerapan Aditya, that's Yoshin Ki, just giving you a look, the two Victoria lads, followed by the lad from Hwa Chong Institution, that's Fu Zishuan. And then, of course, from Raffles Institution, on number 4, we've got Wang Chi-yu of Raffles, followed by Sean Russell Tay. That's Aiden Yeo. Both these lads, of course, Sean and Aiden, from Anglo-Chinese Independent School. And they are followed by their teammate, Kieran Chua. And last but not the least, of course, from Temasek Secondary years, Lim Zichi. So that's pretty much it as far as our lineups are concerned. The lads, a picture of concentration. Remember that first event already got underway, but inaugurating the boys events here today are these lads for the 200 meters C division boys finals. The lads all lined up, waiting for that start. There's a good bit of focus there. There's a good bit of concentration. Remember, in most sprints, well, there we go with the lads off into the race. And that's a good start for the morning. We see the lads from Anglo-Chinese really putting on an effort here. And that's a huge lead there for Sean Russell Tay of Anglo-Chinese School. He's got a beautiful stride in. Oh, just pacing himself out beautifully.
Great run by our C Division boys. Let's give them a big round of applause.
And that's a beautiful positive split there from Sean Russell Tay. Well, just led by a huge margin. Did not turn right at the top. School Independent, followed by Raffles Institution and Victoria School. So interesting to look at that. And of course, Veerapanaditya very close to his teammate Yoshin Key. And I think that's really what these lads do. They also tend to, train against each other. They also tend to, well, pit each other's skill. And that's what really makes the difference. So that's the final standings as we have it. Sean Russell Tay right at the top at 23.40 seconds. And he's got a huge lead there on Wang Chiu. So absolute magic from Sean Russell Tay. And this is exactly what we were talking of. Those morning's events, you need to get started. You need to put in, well, your maximum best. And you need to set the tone for what is to come through the rest of the day. Let's also keep you in the loop that if there is a photo finish, there will be, of course, a decider that'll happen between the judges where they have to run the results by themselves and the timings individually. But so far, we haven't had that situation, and it doesn't look like we might see too much of it today, because some of the lads, well, do want to endorse the authority on each race. Moving on now to the slightly bigger age group, and this is, of course, 15s to approximately 16 to 17-year-olds. We are moving into the 200 meters B Division boys finals, and these lads, of course, a picture of joy. The lads in the C Division, of course, had just that more sincere look on their face, but believe you me, the B Division lads, of course, have had a good time training. They're competitors and rivals, but they're also good mates, so which is one of the reasons that when you go to that middle age group, it almost sounds archaic, doesn't it? But that middle age group really makes the difference. That's where you have the camaraderie. That's where you have, most of the lads who, get together and share stories, have fun during training sessions. And that's interesting. And that's exactly what I mean. Look at those lads and you'll see it from Singapore Sports School. We've got these two lads with us, and believe you me, it looks like they're going to break out in a song and dance. So it's Emir bin Mohammed Rashid who's in who'll be in lane 3, and joining him, of course, is Ifian Yi Chukwu Ashraf Ibrahim Moloku, who will be in lane 2. We will, of course, get you introduced to all our lads. They are going to be moving in the
all eyes at the 200 meter
in the same direction that we all started. The starting blocks pretty much set there. The lane set
B boys final
for what we would call, well, that staggered world start. And there are some tracks, of course, across the world where you have probably the, okay, let's put it this way. If you have the 100 meters that runs down a straight track, you very rarely have a staggered start. But if it's on a curve, it's always going to be a staggered start. To be precise, the length of the entire track, of course, would be about 400 meters, and half the track would be 200 meters, which is what these lads are running. So just going to get you introduced to our lads in just a little bit, to stay with us as we launch into that. So you're just getting you acquainted with our lads. We started off with Thong Zong Wei in lane 1 from Hwa Chong, and then of course it was Mulaku from lane 2 at Singapore Sports School, Emir Rashid from Singapore Sports School in lane 3, as Braden Chan of Raffles Institution, now Harry Irfan Karan of Anglo-Chinese School, and we're into the race itself there. There's Dylan Lowe of Badok View Secondary, Joshua Sheehan of Anglo-Chinese School, and Ko Yuan Zhu of Hwa Chong Institution. And just backing on the pace there, it looks like it's Braden Chan. Well, just paced himself out rather well. Seemed to settle down towards the end.
All around for the B-boys. Let's
So
give it
Braden
up
Chan,
for them.
but out of all the lads, he had the most serious expression getting in, and from Raffles Institution, it looks like he just might have the lead there. There it is, Braden Chan finishing at the top at 22.364. Harry Irfan Karan of Anglo-Chinese School Independent finishes second, and Emir bin Mohammed Rashi of Singapore Sports School in third position. That's with 22.898. So the top finisher with 22.364, and did kind of slow down at the end, even though he had a steady lead, kept it consistent. So Braden Chan Wejie, definitely the top runner in this event today. So we will of course get you acquainted with our next lot of lads. Remember, of course, every single race before the victory ceremony, every single race is always prone to scrutiny, and by that we totally mean there is always a check on a few things. Disqualification points. Did the runner sidestep into the other runner's lane? There's also false starts, of course, are pretty much seen at the start, and that's easy to point out. But there's also the photo finishes where you really have to get down to looking at how the lads have finished off, whose toe probably tipped the line first. So the 200 meters girls B division final kicks in now. Remember, the record for this still holds from 1984, which was set by Prema Govindan, and this was the school's national record. She was from Amakyo Secondary. The record was for 24.4 seconds. Can that be broken today? That's a big one. Well, we haven't had any so far broken in our first 3 races. Let's not forget that there was also 25.32 in 2018 that was set by, it was the school's national record set by Izmi Zakia.
200-meter B division girls final.
And our young ladies getting ready to, well, hit the track. Remember what I did mention earlier. The age group for this, of course, would be about 15 to 16 or 17 at the max. The interesting bit about, well, when it comes to, the ladies, as far as the sprinters are concerned, have seen most of them, training in the early part of the morning. And there's some serious intensity there as far as that focus is concerned. Do not forget that unlike most team events or, with most of the CCAs, it's this kind of event where it takes for an individual, performance requires a lot more focus than actual team events, because team events you can always bounce off that energy from your team members. As far as races are concerned, it's pretty much a solo event. You train solo, you have training sessions with your physical trainers or your coaches, and sometimes it's you just trying to beat your own record time and again as you better your performances. So here we have the start. Alexis Theo first of Methodist Girls School, and that's followed by Emily Ann. Emily Ann is from St. Teresa's Convent. There's Jamie Ung, and she represents Nicholas Girls School. Here's Limi Chern Clara, and she's from Raffles Girls School. Followed by Taeying Shan of Changcheng High School. Neo and Yu of Singapore Sports School. followed by Elizabeth Lee Shin of Nicholas Girls School, and finally from Nanyang Girls High School it's going to be Louis Reshan. And it's into the event here. We're down to the 200 meters B division girls final. This is our fourth event of the morning itself, and it started off in a really nice manner. We had 3 good races, but right now you're in the 4th race, and as we can see, just about stretching herself, it looks like it's going to be a good run for Limi Chant Clara. Well, she's one of the star performers. Did see her in a bit of training as well. Has been a well-known name here.
All around.
And she's
Let's
finished
give
off
it up
very
for
comfortably.
the girls.
Had a smile before she started off. Has a smile as she's finished. And that's really what you call a performance. So Clara finishing there with 25.52. Yeah, so she's just about missed out on the championships record, which was set by Kugapriya, and that was in 2014 for 25.51. So interesting finish there for Limi Chen Clara. Very, very close to actually breaking one of those records, but just about missing out by a narrow margin. So that's an interesting take as far as, well, the ladies are concerned. Also, incidentally, let's not forget the finishers for the top 3 came from lane 3, 4, and 5. And that's an interesting bit. And it's over to the next event, which is the 200 meters girls final. Now this, of course, gets a little more, well, quicker and a little more senior as far as we are concerned. I can't really say quicker because this record's pretty much hold, the same. But the 200 meters girls A division final features ladies that are between the age group of about 17 to 18. And very interestingly, while we do get you acquainted, with our ladies who are on the track, I will just run you by not just the competitors, and this is the beauty of these athletes. I did say this earlier, there's always going to be a good bit of camaraderie that is shared. There's a good bit of friendship that is shared, in, even with the rivalries. And that's one of the beautiful things about individual events, especially when it comes to track more than anything else. So we are going to get you acquainted with our runners. Remember, Prema Govindan's record of 0.24.4 seconds still stands. And that's our first runner, Lim Huang Gwendolyn of Hwa Chong Institution, followed by Nikita May Jingyu Myers of Singapore Sports School. From Raffles Institution, Kristen May Leong.
200 meter A girls final.
We've also got, well, a couple of other runners in there that we'll get you acquainted with, including, well, Kristen May Leong, who will be representing Raffles Institution. And she's in lane 3, but let's get you acquainted with all our ladies here. So Gwendolyn Lim of Hwa Chong Institution, Nikita Myers of Singapore Sports School, Kristen May Leong of Raffles Institution. There's Eliana Go of Hwa Chong Institution. Liao Yi Ning Lin of Raffles Institution. She's also one of the, well, strong runners here today. Laura Wong Sithung of Anglo-Chinese Junior College. Cheryl Chu of Victoria Junior College. And finally from Hwa Chong Institution, Meredith Lee. And we're into the event right here. This, of course, is the 200 meters girls A division final. It's what we've been waiting for. The morning, of course, has just kicked into high gear as these young ladies, well, take it through. And that's a huge lead there. Just pulling away. Clara Lim. Well, did see her early on when she was getting ready to get into that race, and well, that's a massive lead there if you ask me.
Our girls, let's give them a big round of applause. Results are up on the board.
So, well,
Congratulations.
we'd had a good run from Clara Lim in the previous race. This time around, it's an entirely different story as Eliana Go, well, just stretches that lead there to finish with 25.890. She won't, of course, break any records here for the time being, but she's fairly close. 25.32 was the championship record set in 2018. So Eliana Go finishes right at the top of the heap with 25.89. It's Laura Wong who follows a second, and Liao Yining Lin who comes in third. Well, not too much of a difference between Laura Wong and Liao Yining Lin, 26.87 and 26.95, but it's really that lead between the first and second. Eliana Go with 25.89 and Laura Wong, of course, coming in second with 26.87. So Eliana Go just pulling it away. Absolutely fantastic work being done there. On to our next race, and it will be the 200 meters boys A division final. And this, of course, is an interesting one, because getting into this, let's see, the record here is well, pretty hefty. It was set by Sandy Fulong, and that was way back in the national school record. It was set by Sandy Fulong Hong in 1984, 21.7 seconds. It hasn't been broken, but the championships record, well, just tends to be a tad bit easier. It's 21.62. That's also the school's national record set by Mark Lee Run in 2022. So these records, well, a bit easier. But as far as the unbroken records are concerned, that's an entirely different story. So let's get you acquainted with our lads in the 200 meters A boys finals. We just got you through some of our lads, including Ajay Selvin of St. Andrews Junior College, Luke Kennan Matthews of St. Andrews Junior College. Then there was Ong Yin Tat of Victoria Junior, just followed by Tate Fung of Raffles Institution. This is Zachary Tan of Hwa Chong Institution. Next to him, it's Darius Chia of Hwa Chong Institution as well, his teammate. And then it'll be Ethan James Phua Kai Wei of Victoria Junior College. And finishing that lineup there will be Isaac Ling Dejun of Anglo-Chinese School Independent. Interesting race, this one, as the lads line up. So you've got two teammates there in Ajay and Luke, and that's for St. Andrews. Of course, we've also got Zachary Than and Darius Chia, who are representing Hwa Chong. They also are teammates, and Victoria Junior College also has two participants in there. So all eyes on the lads. And here we are off into the boys senior event. There's going to be a bit of pace here. And as you can see, it's always going to be an interesting one. It's Tate Tan Fung, who looks like he's going to pull that away. Well, that's a massive kick just after that, well, half point put in by him, and absolutely what you were expecting. So Tate Tan Fung,
fantastic finish there by
really
our
pacing
boys.
himself
Let's
out.
give them a big round of applause, everyone.
We will check on, well, just confirm that time.
Official results up on the board. Let's take a look.
21.93, just falling short of the championship record and the school's national record as well. But Tate Tan Fung finishes in style. He did lead right from, well, that I would say 50-meter mark. Zachary Than finishes second with 22.45, and Ong Yin Tat of Victoria Junior College finishes in third with 22.73. Remember, Zachary Than, of course, does represent Hwa Chong Institution. So that's our finishers there. 21.93, really just narrowly falling short of that school's national record set by Mark
Once
Lee
again,
in
ladies and
2022,
gentlemen, we'd
and
like
the
to welcome
championships record
each
as
and
well.
every one of you to the 83rd Singapore Open Track and Field Championships 2023 here at the Singapore Sports Hub. Coming up will be events in the open category as well as the pole vault for girls open for the National School Games finals that's happening at the pole vault area.
So it's on to the next one, of course, which will be the 200 meters women open heats. Well, just to keep you in the loop, while we do have all the track events going on, and we are focused on the track events, we've also got other events happening around the place. There's a shot put and javelin throw happening just next door. Those are purely field events, of course. And let's not forget that we've also got, well, the high jump, the long jump, and the pole vault taking place right here at the National Stadium. It's a bright and beautiful day for us. We are coming at you live from the heart of sports here in Singapore. And let's not forget that we'll be with you right till the end of the day. This is just the morning. We've got a long way to go, and we're excited to be here. We do hope that you share the same sentiment. So getting ready now, it will be, of course, the 200 meters women open heats. And this is an interesting one because we're not looking, so this is where the beauty of that mix comes into place, or the blend as I call it. And right here in the 83rd Singapore Open Track and Field Championships 2023, it's interesting to know that, well, this category really defines athletic spirit that goes beyond, well, just school games. And we will see a lot of competitors here who really come out with some fascinating, well, performances. So just walking up there, as we can see, is Tan Sushin and Noor Adriana Batrisi. We will get you acquainted with our young ladies here. So there we've got Tan Sushin, who represents Ivovra Club.
On to our next event. This will be the 200-meter Women's Open Heat 1.
So there's 6 runners in here. And just getting a view of young Shanti Pereira there in the background. She'll be on next. She's been breaking records and, well, creating headlines right across, well, all our sports pages. She's an absolutely amazing runner. Seen her from young days, and when she used to train at Singapore Sports School. We'll get a view of her later. But for now, let's get straight down to business with the 200 meters women's open heats. And that's going to be a lineup with Tan Sushin of Ivovra Club right at the start. And she, of course, will be joined by Noor Adriana Batrisi Moham from Malaysia, Komalam Shali Selvaretna of Malaysia, Mari Adorabel Peyuan of Swift, Erza Irdina of Nanyang Polytechnic, and Suvimol, or that's Srathianthong Suvimol of Thailand, who will line up right at the end.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, the pole vault girls open final is about to begin. Good luck.
And that's Suvimol representing Team Thailand.
We still got 2 more minutes before the
And the pole vault for the girls, well, open. This, of course, is the National School Games final. Just giving you a view of that, and that's happening just next door. Well, right here in the 200 meters women open heats. Well, our ladies line up. Remember, they've got a bit of a climb here to get to the finals. And that's going to be interesting because as far as the finals are concerned, that's an entirely different, well, story, because most of the schools have had, well, their qualifications and their knockouts already in place. So let's get straight down to 200 meters. Women's open heats will kick off in just a little bit. Remember, the record was set for this by Shanti Pereira of 23.60. She also set the national record of 22.89. And before that, the championship record was set by Philomena Mensah for 23.40. So it's really Shanti Pereira who will have to beat her own performance here today. And the girls getting ready. And it's into the race here. As we can see, it's Komalam Shali. Well, just pacing herself out. She's got strong competition there from Suvimol Srathianthong. And it's interesting as these two ladies, well, power it ahead. Well, it looks fairly close to us, but do keep in mind the fact that it's still the heat, so it's not a worry at all. And that is a fancy run. So Selvaratnam, or that is Komalam Shali Selvaratnam, putting on a performance here along with Suvimol Srathianthong. And what an event that has been. So the ladies really putting in their all, and there it is, Komalam Shali with 25.27, right at the top of the heap, and she's closely followed, I'd say, by Suvimol Srathianthong, who finishes with 25.35. So that's been a very, very close race as far as she's concerned. And finishing in third, it's Mari Adorabel Peyuan from Swift. So it's an interesting take as far as we are concerned, and we do hope that you've enjoyed our, well, coverage so far. It's still early days, so it's still very early, well, in the event itself. Remember, we're going to be with you all the way in the morning session till approximately 11:30, well, 11 to be precise. And then, of course, we do resume in the afternoon when we start off at 2 and run it all the way to 7. Yeah, so just to reconfirm that, we'll break just a little before 11, and then we will resume, of course, at about, the next race will be at about 2 minutes and 2 hours, or 2 o'clock, sorry, and 17 minutes. So that's 2:17 or 14:17, whichever you decide is better. Just giving you a view of what's transpiring right here next to the races, and that's a, well, field event, of course. We've got the pole vault. We did have the women's 200 meters heats that just got over. We'll have the next women's open heats to kick in just a little bit. We do have our, well, champion runner in here as well, so it's very interesting. So much of well, so much of training, so many years of preparation that really goes into it, and we're actually getting a view of some of our, star performers here from the region. So here's the next one, of course, and that's a view of our young ladies. First we had Abdullah Aina Patricia in lane 4. Then there was Mohammed Sidi
All
Fatima,
eyes now
who
at the
both are
start
from
of
Malaysia.
the
That, of course, is
200-meter
Kiara
woman
Crandall,
open
who
heats
represents
number
Australia.
2.
And that is our star runner,
We see the likes of
Veronica
Aina
Shanti
Patricia
Pereira, better known to us as
from
Shanti Pereira.
Malaysia.
And she'll be followed by
Muhammad
Elizabeth
from
Tan
Malaysia.
of Singapore.
Kiara
So
Crandall.
Shanti Pereira and Elizabeth Tan both representing Singapore. And, well, let's not forget that this record for this, of course, the national record was set by Shanti Pereira for 22.89 seconds. Left to be seen if she can beat that. And she also did set another record for 23.60 in 2015. So interesting whether she can come out tops and better her own year today. But don't forget, a race is never well done till it's done, and there can be any winner on that day. And there we go into the race. Well, pulling away right at the start, Shanti Pereira. She does like to lead from the front. Oh, she's just, well, pacing herself out well. Good bit of a challenge there from her Singapore teammate. But she'll hold her own, just kind of slows down a little bit towards the end. She pretty much knows she's nailed it. So Shanti Pereira once again finishing at the top there.
Congratulations, great run by all our runners.
A commanding race here. And here it is. So Shanti Pereira finishing at the top at 24.64. That's not going to beat her record, but it's not going to matter because she's still got, well, a good bit of time. Elizabeth Anshi Than of Singapore finishes, well, second, very close to her, well, teammate Shanti Pereira, and Kiara Crandall of Australia finishes in third with 25.73. So a good finish as far as we are concerned. And we're back to the pole vault action here. So we've also got a view of what will transpire later on in this event. Always a good thing to get a good view of the event itself. And let's very quickly remind you that this is the 83rd Singapore Open Track and Field Championships 2023. We're running it all the way from today through Friday, the 28th of April. And we do hope that you will join us for all 3 days to catch the action with us, well, on your screen. So for the time being, let's remind you that we've just run through a couple of events, and we had, of course, most of the sprint events done away with, including the heats in the open category. Coming up next in just a little bit, while we get a view of our young ladies, well, using that pole to the maximum to gain height in what we call the pole vault. While we get a view of that in bits and bobs, let's remind you that up next, of course, it's going to be the 200 meters men's open heats, and we'll have the heats 1, 2 and 3. Now these are strong runners. They represent, of course, clubs, they represent countries, and it'll be interesting because that's going to be followed after that by a huge one where we have the 3,000-meter steeplechase. So all that happening right here at the Singapore National Stadium. A view of our lads getting ready. There's going to be, well, 6 runners in the fray for this one.
Open heats 1. Lane 2 from Australia, Yuridaran Karthikeyan. We have lane 3, Aloysius Chia from Hwa Chong Alumni Association. And in lane 4,
so just getting a view of our lads, of course.
From Club Zoom.
And that, of course,
there you see, lane 2
was
is
Nasir Taib Alexander of Malaysia.
Karthikeyan from Australia. Lane 3, Aloysius Chia from
Aloysius
Hwa
Chia
Chong Alumni
of Hwa Chong
Association.
Alumni in lane 3.
4,
Earlier we did get a view of
Pengira
Gridaran
Naidil
Karthikeyan of
from Club
Australia.
Zoom.
Then there's
In lane
Pengiran
5,
Aidil of
Narsil
Pengiran
Taib
Aidil of Club
Russell
Zoom.
Alexander from
Here's Russell
Malaysia.
Alexander
Lane
of
6,
Malaysia.
Marcelo
On to lane
Ottaviano
6
from
for
Australia.
Marcelo Ottaviano. And then, of course,
Lane
Jamil
7,
Redhang
Jamil Redang Norisham
Norisham
from
of Singapore Sports School is in lane 7. So, a good lineup here. And, well, that silence never applies to me at a stadium. There's always moments where you do have to, of course, let the athletes focus. And this is where they get their thoughts together, where they get what exactly their plan would be. Remember, each runner does have a plan. No matter what the sprinter is, he's got to decide whether he's going to go in for the positive or the negative split. He's got to decide whether he has to use the kick. Is it really necessary right at the end? But that's normally in a few of the longer races. Having said that, straight down to business here. And here we have it. Our first lad, of course, Karthikeyan Giridharan. He represents Australia. All very powerful runners here. Remember, the open category is never easy. The record here, of course, was set by Ruben Lee for 21.07. That was the national record. And that looks like it's going to be a fancy move here, as Alexander Nasser, well, seems to be pulling away right ahead of the pack. He's kept a comfortable lead, paced himself out extremely well, and he'll take that home nice and easy. Which has really organized his race well. And that's Russell Alexander Nasser type.
To our runners in Heat 1 of
So
the 200 meter
21.27 is what he finished with.
Let's take a look at the board for the results of that race.
And it's Pengiran Aidil who finished second, who was very close behind Nasser Alexander. And in third position, of course, it's Aloysius Chia. So interesting there. We've got a finish right there between lanes 3, 4 and 5. And well, believe you me, it's even funnier because it's actually finished 5:03, which means first, second and third. So, well, there's a bit of joy in everything if you can learn to pull it out of that, including in numbers. And the pole vault still very much on here. Just got a view of young Chong Yet Young. She represents Hwa Chong. Oh, sorry, that's from Cedar Girls School. And that was Althea Tan. We just got a view of from Cedar Girls. So interesting, while the pole vault, of course, does carry on. And remember, as far as track and field are concerned, most events, of course, would run simultaneously because, well, there's a lot to cram in the day. And there are a lot of events spread out over the next 2 days as well. So up next, it will be the 200 meters men's open heats. We'll also get you acquainted with our runners.
Introduction to the 200 meter men open.
And
heats
in the
two.
heats too, of
Lane
course,
2,
200 meters men's
Ellie Hall
open.
from Australia.
Yes, Ellie Hall of Australia.
Lane 3, Giro
Followed by Giro
Prudencio
Prudencio of Max Form.
Lane 4, Hamish Lindstrom from Australia.
And Australia's Hamish Lindstrom.
Lane
There's
5,
Ruben Rayner Lee
Rayner Lee,
of Singapore.
representing Singapore.
And, well, he's got a fancy introduction, isn't
Lane
it?
6,
Fancy
Ethan
schmancy, I'd say, yeah.
James R. from SG Disability Sports Council.
And that, of course,
And
was from
in
SG
lane
Disability
7,
Sports Council.
William
James
Yant
Ethan Kai
from
Mung Ung, and here's
Australia.
William Yant of Australia. So here we have it. The finish, as far as we are concerned, will be important. Remember, this is still the heats, where you will see runners will put in the effort, but just enough to finish, you know, at the top of the heap. It's only in those, well, finals that you're going to see runners throw their heart and soul into it. But every race is important, remember. Every race is always important as far as the runners are concerned. And there we are, off into the 200 meters men's open heats. This is the second one. It's Hamish Lindstrom right behind Rayner Lee. And he spaced himself out extremely well to take it well home. Ruben Rayner Lee.
Great run by all
And
our
he did
men's open heats.
Well,
two
Hamish Lindstrom
athletes
right
in the
behind him.
200
Did challenge him
meters.
just for a tad bit
Well done.
in that
Let's take a
150
look
meter
at
region.
the results on the scoreboard.
So Ruben Rayner Lee finishes with 21.58. And Hamish Lindstrom coming in second with 21.93. It's fairly close. And Giro Prudencio of Max Form in third with 22.86. Of course, let's not forget the record for this was set by Ruben Rayner, the national record of 21.07. Still has to break that today. And I'm sure that that must be the game plan. Haran Mundir, of course, had set a new record, of course, way back in 1982, and that was of 21.49. So back to Walters here. And, well, one of those sports that, you know, when you're fairly young, it's a very, very exciting sport, especially when you're, well, I would say in, you know, primary. And it was the most fascinating sport for me when I was a kid. That changes as you go to higher levels, doesn't it? Well, the poles get bigger, it just gets a lot tougher, and there's more things about technique. So pole vaulting is just one of those sports. It's not as natural as running would come to you, but pole vaulting really is about skill, it's about timing, precision, and more importantly, it's also about keeping, well, your balance in check. That's so important. And there we go, another fine vault there, and a sheer joy there for our young athlete. So that's what you want to see. You want to see, you know, vaulters able to clear the bar without that touch. And well, as I got into high school, I do believe that every single vault would have been a touch and would have knocked down the horizontal bar. So that's important, and that's important for our athletes time in and time out. The amount of practice they put in, you can still put in probably hours and years of practice, and as that bar goes higher, you could still tip it. So it's never really a guarantee against that. And some of the finest vaulters in the world have had their own share of, well, challenges. So the 200 meters men's open heats, and this will be followed by the victory ceremony in just a little bit.
Not shown on screen.
So here we go. Leonard King of Australia will be, well, the one headlining that act. So that's Leonard King of Australia.
Onwards to the 200-meter men open heats number 3. Lane 2 from Australia, Leonard King.
And he'll be followed by
Lane
Praharsh
3
Ryan of Oldham
from
Athletics.
Oldham Athletics, Praharsh Ryan. Lane 4 from Australia, Mitchell O'Neill.
Mitchell O'Neill of Australia. It's got a smile for the camera.
Lane 5
It's Mark Ren Lee
from
of Singapore.
Mark Ren Lee.
And he's
Lane 6
happy camper,
from
looks very
Australia,
confident.
David
Mould of Australia is up next, and it'll be
And in lane
finished
7,
off by Elgin Chung
representing
of Team
Team
Cicada
Cicada
Trackers.
Trackers, Elgin Chung.
Picture of concentration here. 200 meters men's open heats. And we are into the first event. As far as the heats are concerned, well, this is the men's 200 meters open heats. We separated into 3 parts. Taking the lead there and running right ahead for Australia, it's Mitchell O'Neill. And he's packed in an extremely good race. Very, very comfortable stride from him as well. So Mitchell O'Neill with the top finish.
200-meter men open heats 3. Let's take a look at the timings on the scoreboard.
And it's 21.26 from Mitchell O'Neill, just, well, a tad bit better than Ruben Reynolds Lee, who finished 21.58 in the previous one, but Ruben, of course, does still hold a record here. It's Leonard King of Australia who finishes second, and Mark Ren Lee of Singapore who will finish in 3rd position. So, interestingly, so Haran Munder's record, of course, being broken there by Mitchell O'Neill, who clocked in 21.26. And that's an interesting one, because Haran Munder had put in 21.49. So that's our finish as far as the 200 meters men's open heats is concerned. And we move on, of course, to what we call, well, just a tad bit of a breather before we can get into the victory ceremony. So do stay with us. Don't go anywhere as the action continues right here at the Singapore National Stadium.
Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to invite you to focus your attention at our victory ceremony podium. We will be presenting the medals to our top 3 athletes for the C Girls Division 200-meter category. I beg your pardon, our top 4 athletes. Presenting the medals, we have with us Mr. Thomas Yong, Games Advisor for the Track and Field National School Games Organizing Committee.
So here we have, of course, the 200 meters C Girls victory ceremony.
In 4th position, we have with us Krisha Shahs.
So Krisha Shahs of Singapore Sports School finishes off 4th best. And let's not forget her full name.
3rd place,
of course, is
Tamara
Krisha Shasani,
Tile.
daughter of Jairaj. Tamara Tiles finishes in, well, I'd call that second runners-up. I'm always
2nd
one who hates
position, Eva
the third.
Chia Yi.
That's the runner-up, Eva Chia Yi, Yi Hui of Ahmed Ibrahim.
And our
secondary.
champion,
And
Po Min Su.
the winner of the 200 meters C Division Girls Finals, that is Haley Po Min Chuan of Crescent Girls Secondary. She
Ladies
had
and
a fantastic
gentlemen,
race.
let's give them a big round of applause. Your champions.
So our champions in the Girls C Division. So our presenters, of course, just to give you a view, are Mr. Thomas Young. He's the Games Advisor for the Track and Field National School Games Organizing Committee. And he's taken time off, of course, to spend it with us here. And a worthy time for our young athletes, really. That's really encouragement.
And now,
when
ladies
you have,
and gentlemen, the
you know, the
victory
top brass
ceremony
in
for
the sports
the 200
fraternity coming
meter
out.
C Division boys.
So on to the 200 meter C Division boys, and it will still be Mr. Thomas Young who will
4th
hand out
position.
those medals.
Let's give it up for A. Virapa.
So finishing in 4th position there,
3rd
we
place,
see Veerapan
Yo
Veerapan of
Ki.
Victoria School. Second runners up, it's Yoshin Ki Young Chuan of Victoria School. In second position
place,
of Raffles Institution,
Wang
here's Wang
Ji-ye.
Chie. And finishing in top position, of course,
And
is
your champion,
Sean Russell Tay.
Sean Russell.
Sean Russell Tay of Anglo-Chinese School Independent. He had a fabulous race, finished off at 23.40
Ladies and gentlemen,
seconds.
supporters,
And those are
let's
our winners.
give all our winners a big round of applause. Thank you, and we'd like to say a big thank you to Mr. Thomas Yong, our Games Advisor for the Track and Field National School Games Organizing Committee, for presenting the medals and the awards to our deserved champions.
So that's
Thank
pretty
you,
much
sir.
it as far
In
as
the
the first few
meantime,
prize
coming up
presentations
next,
are concerned.
the action
That's
continues. Steeple chase
well,
coming
pretty
up
much what
next.
you call the fruits of their labor earned by our young athletes here. Let's remind you once again that this is the 83rd Singapore Open Track and Field Championships 2023, and we are coming at you live all the way from the heart of sports in Singapore, which is the National Stadium. We'll be running it through all the way into Friday, which is the 28th of April. But here today on day one, the 26th of April, it's a fairly interesting one for us as we pretty much finished off with our prize presentations for the first 2 events of the day. Remember, there'll be prize presentations for the 200 meters boys and followed by the girls event. And then, of course, the 200 meters boys final in the A division, and of course the girls in the A division too. Let's not forget to also remind you that coming up next, it's going to be the foremost event in the steeplechase, an event that has been known in the Olympics since 1900. Of course, it was an offshoot of the steeplechase and horse racing, and a sport that was dominated by the Kenyans all the way from 1968, where they had a clean medal sweep. They also had well, pretty much a hold or dominance of the sport of this particular event in well, the Olympics right through. So it's also one of the most important events in youth athletics, the steeplechase. A fun event when you're talking about it, as far as when you're in junior, in junior school or in primary. But as I said, it really changes as you go into the latter stages, because 3,000 meters, it's never the easiest. This, of course, is the A Division boys final. We're looking at lads between the age of 17 and 18. It takes a lot of resilience, a lot of stamina, a lot of perseverance on the track. So it's a very, very interesting event. Do stay with us as the action continues right here. We've got, of course, 4 lads in the running there that we flashed earlier, and that's the entire lineup. We're looking at a big one. In all, we are looking at about, well, 13 runners for this. So it's a very interesting event, as we promised earlier. We will get you acquainted with our athletes later on. It's interesting there. Our runners lining up for the steeplechase. Let's get you acquainted with them, because it's going to be a bit tough running through all of them. And representing, of course, Victoria Junior College, we've got Joshua Mikapin. There's right there at the start, there's Dharmaraj Puran of Raffles Institution, followed by Kuzi Xian of Hwa Chong, and then Daniel Tang of Catholic Junior College. There'll also be Chua Yun Shun of Hwa Chong Institution. So here we go, quick introductions being done. Remember, there's 13 of them in line. And let's get you acquainted with the remaining lads, of course, for Raffles Institution. In lanes 6, it's going to be Kyle Xiao. So here we have it. The first 6 introduced, and then in lane 7, Keith Chong of Anglo-Chinese, Seth Ko of Millennia in lane 8, Fang Chen of National Junior College in lane 9, Jonathan Tan of Raffles in lane 10, Jeremy Chong of Anglo-Chinese School Independent in lane 11. There's Ethan Lua of Hwa Chong Institution in lane 12, and Brian Chu of Anglo-Chinese finished off that entire lineup. 13 runners for the count. Remember, it's the 3,000 meters. This is not an easy feat, and it is not for the faint-hearted. It takes a lot of stamina, it takes a lot of skill, and it takes a lot of training to get here in the steeplechase. So let's not forget the hurdles normally in the steeplechase tend to be higher than the regular hurdles. So that also adds into the difficulty level of the contest. So it's all happening right here at the Singapore National Stadium. Let's get down to business with the 3,000 meters, and that'll be followed, of course, soon by another victory ceremony for the B Division girls and boys 200 meters, and the girls A Division 200 meters. So do hold on as we get into the action right here at the National Stadium. This is going to be a long one, believe you me. We got done with the 100 meters. Well, you're looking at the track, which is about 400 meters in all. So that's a couple of rounds, that about a little over 7.5 rounds of the entire track. So the runner's just getting ready, and of course, you do have to iron out all the creases before you can actually start off the race. And sometimes, well, more importantly, the judges and the timers, they will want to see that everything is in place before they can actually get started off.
We are all set for the 3,000 meter steeplechase A-boys final.
So the 3,000 meters steeplechase, the A division boys final. Remember, of course, it's a very popular event with youth athletics right around the globe, and there's a reason for it. Well, it's a race that does have its challenges. It also does have its fun moments, but it can be very, very challenging. So here we have it. Remember, always a different start as compared to the other races where you do have the starting blocks and the sprints. These, of course, are more the long races, and you have to pace yourself out. Well, leading right from the front and fairly early can be a challenge in itself. Remember, 3,000 meters, you got to pace yourself out. And there's always, of course, I remember, there are always runners who can, of course, even when it comes to the longer races, well, lead from the front with a positive split. And that, of course, would be essentially runners like Steve Prefontaine. And thanks to his coaches, well, training, well, Steve Prefontaine, of course, did fall at his first Olympics event, but then went on. He was poised on, well, just the starting block of greatness, I'd say. And his coach had turned his running style around from a positive to a negative split. And that's, of course, the first hurdle that we're looking at. Remember, the steeplechase, your hurdles are always higher as compared to the normal hurdles.
Which is the B division girls 200 meters. We now like to invite Mr. Shawal, the principal of Fuchun Secondary, to present the awards. Let's give all of them a big round of applause. We shall start with the B Division Girls 200 meter, fourth position.
And there
from
we go,
Singapore
the
Sports
first
School,
water trough.
Neo and Yu.
And that's an interesting one.
Third position from CHIJ St. Nicholas, Jamie Ng Sok Chi.
Because you always need,
In second
well,
position,
a little bit of,
from Chun Cheng Girls,
well,
Tae
stamina,
Ying
a little bit
Chan.
of help. You got to pace yourself
And
out.
your
Most runners
champion
in the
from
steeplechase, of course, do run
Raffles
with their
Girls, Clara
well,
Lim Yi Chen.
watches and their timers as well.
Congratulations, winners.
And those are our winners in the B Division Girls Finals. And they were a happy bunch. I did enjoy watching them run. It was right up there with Clara Lim, who claimed the top spoils, and she was followed by second placed Shanti, and then Jamie Ng Sok Chi, who finished off third. Back to the race
Victory
here
ceremony
on
for
the
B
steeplechase,
Division
and just to
boys,
keep you in the
200
loop,
meters.
pacing himself out extremely well and trying to,
In fourth
well,
position
keep
from
that
the
lead.
Singapore
It's
Sports
Jonathan
School,
Tan.
Ifiani Chukwu Ashara.
And here we have it, the
In third position from
200
Singapore
meters
Sports School,
B Division
Emir
boys final.
bin Muhammad Rashid.
And it was Moloko, of course, who
second
finished in
position
fourth,
from
and then
ACSI,
Emir Rashid of
ACS
Singapore Sports School
Independent,
finishing in
Harry
third.
Irfan
In
Shura.
second, years Harry Irfan Karan of Anglo-Chinese School Independent, and the top
And
runner
your
there from Raffles
champion
Institution,
from Raffles
Braden Chan
Institution,
Wezier.
Braden Chan.
Braden, of course, finished off with 22.36 on the clock. And that was a very, very good run from him. We will, of course, have the winners of the 200 meters girls A finals on as well in just a little bit. But while we talk about it, and while our lads, well, do have their moment of glory, it's back to the steeplechase here,
Well done.
where we've got, well, as we said, 3,000 meters to go. So it's always going to be the long haul. And very interestingly, still keeping that lead right up there in front. And impressive from Jonathan Tan. The positive split from him. Can he sustain it for the entire race? Is there going to be a change as far as, well, the latter part of the race is concerned? Remember, of course, with the steeplechase, the hurdle is always higher than the normal hurdles. And very rarely do actual runners, well, just scale it. Some of them, of course, would actually step on it, and you're allowed to. There's well, that's the difference between the other races. Don't forget, of course, at some points you do have where the water trough is, you do want to basically make sure that you try and scale it easily so you can land, but sometimes safer for athletes to step onto the hurdle and then get onto, you know, the water challenge, because then the chances of you actually slipping, which of course are very narrow, yeah, but having said that, you never know how well your feet position can be during a run, especially when it's a long one. So back to the steeplechase here, as we said earlier, and it's still, of course, right there in the lead and stretching himself into a very, very positive well, space, I would say, is Jonathan Tan of Raffles Institution. Well, almost seems to be like he's a natural when it comes to the long distance. But there's still time left in this event. And let's very quickly run you through the records. The national school record was set by Nigel Fu for 6 minutes and 11.2 seconds, and that was of course in the 2000, but in the 3000, which we are currently a part of, it is the school national record is held by M. Maran from 1988 for 9:29.7. The school's national record was set by Narayan Paudel in 2001 for 9:57.25, and the championship record of course stands at 9.38. So I would say it's still a tall order, and Jonathan Tan still keeping it together. It's very unusual for a 3,000 meters steeplechase contestant to lead from the front, and that's, well, not normally the norm, because in a steeplechase you want to keep it consistent, you want to keep it at that mid tempo for yourself. Now scaling, well, the challenge was Jeremy Chong, and he'll be followed here by Joshua Pin of Victoria Junior College. Still keeping it together, still pacing himself out, Jonathan Tan. He's just increased that lead gradually, pushing back his closest competitor. And they're past that water challenge, catching up with, well, the last contestant on the track right now. And that means he's come a full circle. So running right ahead and still keeping that pace up. Can he break the national record? Well, that's the big one, I'd say. 9.29 for the count. And the rest of the chasing pack, well, just catching up there, but Jonathan Tan streets ahead, at least a street ahead of his closest rivals.
We are proud to present the victory ceremony for the A Division 200 meters event. We start off
that's
with
such a
our
huge
A
gap, isn't it?
Division girls 200 meters, and here are your top 4 winners.
So our 200 meters girls A Division finals, and we do have our top finishers in there.
4th place from Huachaw, I beg your pardon, Lim Huang Pei Gwendolyn.
So Gwendolyn Lim of Hwa Chong
3rd
Institution
position
finishing
from Raffles Institution,
in 4th.
Liao Yi Ning Lin.
Liao Yining Lin of Raffles Institution finishing in 3rd. Laura Wong Si Thang of Anglo-Chinese Junior College finishing in 2nd. And at the top of the heap it was Eliana Go of Hwa Chong Institution, and what a race it was for her. Absolutely phenomenal run by her. And she capped it off with 25.89 to win this race here today.
Well done to all our winners.
And that's pretty much, well, what transpired at the 200 meters girls A Division Finals victory ceremony. We are into the last bit of our race right here in the 3,000 meter steeplechase. Still keeping the lead and stretching it out extremely well. That is Jonathan Tan of Raffles Institution. And he looks like he's going to cap it off. He's done extremely well, kept it very consistent, stretched that lead, did not change too much. He's just increased the pace gradually, just by inches, able to get ahead of the chasing pack. And that's the interesting bit. And I do believe that he is going to, well, take it home without any challenge here today, unless there is a burst from one of the lads as far as he's concerned. So still taking it through, still no challenge here for the young Jonathan Tan, and that is of course one of the final contestants, Fang Chen, who's well, still catching up with the rest of the pack. And now of course a bit of a burst of energy that we're looking at, and Jonathan Tan will have to keep it steady because he's got his second competitor packing on the pace here. But it certainly looks like if he can keep it consistent, just a stumble there and a bit unfortunate, and here we go. Just past Jonathan Tan, looks like he was going to catch up, and he's run right ahead to cap it off. Well, just trailed in second position through the entire race, and that's what happens in a steeplechase. Jonathan Tan, very unfortunate there for that stumble, but he really ran a beautiful race. But here it is, second placed, and he's finished off to do well here, and it's Chua Yuanchun of Hwa Chong Institution who caps it off with a win. Can't help but feel a tad bit awful for Raffles Institution's Jonathan Tan. He really commanded this entire race, ran it through extremely well. It's just that final stumble, and that's life, isn't it? If something's got to go wrong, it's got to go wrong. But he was very clearly the deserving winner of this race. Unfortunately, sheer disappointment there for young Jonathan Tan, but more power to him. So capping it off with a win, it's Chua Yuanchun of Hwa Chong Institution. And we still have to wait for, well, young Fang Chen to come in, as well as at this end it's Chong Chuan Wei Keith of Anglo Chinese. There we have it, the last two lads coming in. So just pulling it up there, right there at the end, it was Fang Chen, and of course you had young Chong Chuan Wei Keith. But finishing the race is what matters, and let's very quickly run you through another bit. Of course, what a race that was. Jonathan Tan taking it through right to the top. It certainly looked like he was going to cap it off with a win, and then of course that surprise moment coming in from Chua Yuanchun of Hwa Chong Institution. And it's those stumbling blocks which really do tell us stories, don't they? Right through the years in the Olympics, you've had sometimes winners who actually stopped off to help their rivals across the finish line when that happens due to a sprain or an injury. Having said that, of course, it's really up to every single individual and how you plan the race. But I do believe what a fantastic race run, not just by Jonathan Tan, but more by the winner, Chua Yuanchun. Just pulled it together, kept a steady second place, and then that kick at the end, what a difference it made in that last 200 meters, bursting through, and then he did have the opportunity to sail ahead. I do believe if Jonathan Tan had not, well, taken that stumble, there was still a chance for young Chua Yuanchun to have caught up, but real competition there. And this is a tough race, as you can see. Well, there'll always be a bit of cramping as far as the legs are concerned. 3,000 meters is no mean feat. It's really a man's challenge more than anything else, and for these young athletes to pull it off, hats off to them. So 10.43.77 on the clock from our winner, Chua Yuanchun, and followed by Jonathan Tan, finished with 10.52.84, and in third place, of course, We did give you our finalists. We will, of course, run you through them for the event itself. So there it is in third place. It was Ethan Lua KD. So the 3000 steeple chase A Division Boys Final, the longest event of this morning. Well, just getting over. We have the second longest event, which will be coming up, and that, of course, will be the steeplechase in the B Division Boys Final, and that'll be for the 2,000 meters. So don't go anywhere. We've still got a few prize presentations in store for you, and we've still got more action happening right here at the Singapore National Stadium. My name is Glenn Mascarenas, and this, of course, is the event that we've been waiting for right through the year, the 83rd Singapore Open Track and Field Championships 2023. Don't go anywhere.
Stand by. Coming up will be the B-Boys final for the 200-meter steeplechase event. "16 athletes all in all. Raffles Institution, Ethan Lee. North Vista Secondary, Ting Yu Heng. Hua Chong Institution, Elgin Low. Victoria School, Noah Ng Shen Yang. ACS Independent, Brandon Park. St. Joseph's Institution, Dhiran Dev Raja. Singapore Sports School, Amre Rizki Mika. Tristan Low from Victoria School. Catholic High Secondary, Toh Ao Lin. ACS Independent, Guru Bu Belly Shentadas. From Hua Chong Institution, Brian Koh. Sing Che from Raffles Institution.
So here we go now with our 2,000 meter steeplechase, the B-Boys finals. It's Ethan Lee Jinchian of Raffles Institution, followed by Ting Yu Hung of North Vista Secondary. We've got Elgin Law of Hua Chong Institution in lane 3. Then there's Young Noah, I'm still going in order, Young Noah of Victoria School lane 4, Anglo-Chinese School Independence Brandon Pong in lane 5. Raja Dev Dhiran will be in lane 6 for St. Joseph's Institution. Singapore Sports Schools Emery Muliadi will be in lane 7. Tristan Low of Victoria School in 8. Zhao Aolin of Catholic High Secondary in lane 9. Guru Gubeli Chetan Das of Anglo-Chinese School Independent will be in lane 10. Brian Koh of Hua Chong in lane 11. Sing Se of Raffles Institution in lane 12. Tan Wei Yi of Hua Chong in lane 13. Joshua Lui of Catholic High Secondary in lane 14. Venkatesan of Anglo-Chinese School in lane 15. Jeremy L. Liang of Northbrook Secondary School will be in lane 16. So that's pretty much it. And, well, 16 runners for the count, and that's the beauty of it, isn't it? Where you all line up together. There's no separate starting blocks. There's no premium treatment. You just get straight into the race, but 2,000 meters is a long stretch. Don't forget, of course, we've got one more race coming up after this, and that'll be the 2,000 meters steeplechase girls A Division finals. Almost a bit of a false start there from Tan Wei Yi. Well, he thought that it was, well, it had started off. And interesting to see which of these lads can actually bring their best to the table here. They've got an official just making sure that the lads know all the rules, that they're all ready. It's been a good morning here, a very productive one for a lot of the schools and a lot of our athletes here. And we're into the 2,000 meter steeplechase. This, of course, is an event in the B Division boys finals. And there's a reason for it. In the B Division, of course, are lads normally between the age of 15 to approximately 16, 17. It's going to take a bit of time, so let it simmer over. No need to get it too excited. It's not like the sprints. And that's the beauty of the long races, isn't it? You just got to take your time. You've just got to space yourself out. You've just got to plan what comes next. And we saw that in a previous race with young Yuan-Chun Chua, he was just absolutely fantastic in his performance. So you want to see that kind of performance where an athlete really plans out or writes a story there for himself on the field. So this is the long distance races. Remember, they can go all the way, well, into fatigue point for a lot of our athletes. But a very good start here, and that's what we're looking at for our two lads leading the pack. I'm not going to talk about leading from the front because we didn't see that, well, pan out too well in our previous race. But there's always, well, a runner or two who will keep that lead ahead of the chasing pack. And the lads who are really just backing it up there, that's Elgin Low of Hwa Chong Institution and Noah Young of Victoria School. It's these two lads who are just about keeping that, lead on the rest of their competitors. It'll be interesting, of course, to see what transpires as far as this, front is concerned. So let's remind you once again that we are coming at you live from the Singapore National Stadium, which is pretty much the heart of sports here in Singapore. And we are into the second steeplechase event of the morning. We've got 3 full days of events packed in for you, and it's going to be interesting to watch what transpires. Right now, the two lads right here in the lead in the B Division boys final for the steeplechase. There's Elgin Low of Hwa Chong Institution, and he's followed by Noah Young of Victoria School. These two lads just pacing themselves out. They will have a bit of a challenge. Remember, if there is a kick from any of those contestants in that last 200 meters, and that can actually change the entire complexity and, of course, the outcome of the race. So there's still a lot to be done here, a lot of groundwork to be done for our athletes still on field. Remember, these are pretty much the younger of the athletes as compared to the A division where you have the senior athletes taking part. So do stay with us as the steeplechase continues right here. And now we have, of course, a bit of a separation between the front two. As we see, it was Elgin Low and Noah Young earlier, but there might be a bit of a change there, as Elgin Low now leads the pack just for the time being, and Noah Young is a close second. But no counting any results here. Remember, the record for this was set way back in the school's national record by M. Maran, and that was in 1998, where he clocked 9.29.7. The school's national record, after that was 9:57.25, set in 2001. But the championship record set by Narayan Paudel is 9:57.25, and by M. Maran was 9.38. So M. Maran was really the star runner back then in 1988. But no taking anything away from these lads. There's still a good bit of time to go, so sit back, relax, and enjoy this race. This, of course, is really more about temperament than about pace, and it's really the pace that counts in that last bit. So still, leaps and bounds ahead of the pack is Elgin Low, and Noah Young, of course, has had other competitors catching up with him. He's fallen behind as well into 4th position. It will be interesting to see who can take it across the finish line first in this event. Just about getting past that halfway mark, and here's where the water challenges really play a huge part. The trough there, as the lads get into it, it's going to be interesting to see whether they can, well, actually well, command that area. And sometimes, well, those challenges might just seem like a step into a bit of a liquid zone. Well, it really isn't, because more often than not, it is those challenges that give athletes a chance to overcome the competitors, or to just gain that tad bit of an advantage. It'll be interesting to watch what happens as far as they are concerned. But let's move on now to, well, remind you that we've still got one more race that's left, and that, of course, will be the women's A division 2,000 meters steeplechase. That comes up in a little bit. But for now, we are still focused on the event of the moment, and this is the 2,000 meters B division boys final. The steeplechase, of course, going in towards the latter ground, which, of course, will be the last couple of minutes in this race. We're still past the halfway mark. There's still a good bit of time left. And I do believe that young Elgin Lowe will have to keep it together if he wants to hold his own. So that's pretty much it as far as the 2,000 meters steeplechase was concerned. It was a fancy finish here, and it is, of course, Ethan, well, who was leading that pack right through. We are going to have a quick view of our winners there. Ethan Lee finishing at the top, followed by Ting Yu Heng, and then, of course, Elgin Lowe. Elgin led through most part of the race, but just dropping off after that 1,500 meter mark, and that's where, well, Ethan Lee and Ting Yu Heng really caught up. So it's finished off fairly well here as far as the 2,000 meters is concerned. We will get you acquainted with our winners later on. 6 minutes 47.38 was the record here as far as this is concerned. So let's very quickly run you through that. So Ethan of Raffles Institution finishing with 6:47.38. Tanwei Yi, well, a close second with 6:47.85. And then, of course, we had Dhiran Dev Raja, who finished in third with 6:48. Unfortunately, well, some of our other lads, including, well, Noah Young, finishing right there behind. And well, so did Elgin Lowe. So it really boils down to what comes out in the last few meters of the races, and the last 200 meters more importantly than anything else. So here we have it, our winners in the 2,000 meters steeplechase boys B division. We are going to get on to the next prize presentation, and that, of course, we will finish that off followed by two more bits, and that, of course, has to be the 2,000 meters steeplechase A division girls finals, followed by the prize winners of the morning that we did not present the medals to, which is all these races that are currently going on. So do stay with us, don't go.
We've just completed the steeplechase event earlier on, the 2,000 meter steeplechase B-boys finals, and now we move into the start of the 2,000 meter steeplechase A-girls finals. 9 girls competing. We have Victoria Junior College's Faith Lam Wai Sam, Raffles Institution Edna Kwa Swan.
Let's get straight down to business with the 2,000 meters. As far as the steeplechase is concerned, it's the A Division Girls Finals, and we will launch into this right away. It's an interesting take for us, because as far as the 2,000 meters steeplechase for boys was concerned, we had a fairly interesting result. Here, of course, the record set was set way back in 2016 by Vanessa Lee Yingzuan, and then, of course, it's left to be seen whether that's broken today. So, Faith Lam of Victoria Junior College started off that lineup, followed by Edna Swan of Raffles Institution, Giselle Kwek of Hwa Chong Institution, Chuan Ung of Raffles Institution. Then, of course, it's Cheryl Tung of Hwa Chong Institution, Gemma Eifert of Anglo-Chinese Junior College, Ung Reishi of Raffles Institution, Hannah Tong of Hwa Chong Institution, Janelle Lum of Singapore Sports School, and Alicia Chi will finish off that starting lineup. Alicia comes from Dunman High School. So big event here as far as we are concerned, and it'll be an interesting one to figure out what exactly these girls can bring to the table. Remember, 2,000 meter steeplechase, the record to break is 7 minutes 38.16. Both, of course, were set in the schools nationals as well as in the championships. The record was set by Vanessa Lee Yingzuang, and that hasn't been broken since 2016. Let's not forget, let's shave off the the time of the pandemic, where we did have, of course, not many records available to be broken, and not many athletes who could take part, although they were willing. So interesting here, the steeplechase for young ladies, and it'll be an interesting one to see what they can come up with. So while the ladies get ready, let's also remind you very quickly that the steeplechase does pose literally hurdles for our young athletes, and the hurdles, of course, tend to be well higher than the actual hurdles used in the hurdles events, and there's a reason for that. That's basically due to the fact that you can use a step on those hurdles.
We are all set and ready.
The girls just getting ready, and a quick helping hand with the tag there for young Miss Ung by Hannah Tong. And our officials just making sure that the rules are clear, that all the ladies, of course, are lined up and ready. And just a slender lead there from young Janelle Lom of Singapore Sports School. The runners fairly closer together here. Not really too much of a space there between, well, the ladies. You might see that happen as they progress to higher ground. We're looking at about 5 full rounds of the entire track. Remember, the track is normally made up of 400 meters, and it will be very interesting to see if these, well, athletes can really push for their best. We've got quite a few schools who who've turned up here for the event. We can see some of their banners, of course, up around the stands as well. And here as we go through it, that's, well, one of the obstacles in the steeplechase. That's a very important one, the water trough. And while, of course, most runners don't even blink when it comes to that, it does make a big difference as far as the race is concerned in the long run. Confident stride there that we're looking at from young Cheryl Thang of Hwa Chong Institution. She's keeping it together. She has Ang Sin Chuan, well, next to her. Miss Ang, well, looking to lead there. So it's still fairly a tight contest here between the ladies. Of course, there is a good bit of time left in this event. Let's not forget that, as I said earlier, the record set for this was 7 minutes and 38 seconds. So that's 7:38:16. And still keeping that slight lead there, it's Miss Ang along with Janelle Lem. Well, nothing to be counted from this early part of the race because there's still a good bit of time, as I said. But just for the view of it, it's Ang Reishi along with Janelle Lambayan, who are really the ladies looking to challenge this position. There's also Hannah Tong, who's looking fairly strong here in this race. So the race still moves on here, and still right there in the front, the leaders of the pack for the time being. And it's young Janelle Lam who's just about pacing it out along with her rival, Ang Reishi. It's very, very interesting to see these two ladies. Now they're being joined by two more. Just a community gathering right up there in front with the front four. Having said that, let's not forget in the boys we saw an entirely different race. We saw the lads, of course, lead from the front in both races, and both lads, of course, who led from the front, unfortunately, did not finish as winners but had to fall back. One, of course, just by accident when they knocked over the hurdles. And that is a good man, of course, on the field. That is
from Japan.
That's young Ross,
how it goes.
Who's
well
with us at most of the events.
A video of a real Pocari Sweat bottle, and you remember the Merlion? This is how it goes. Look at that. Come on. Go, go, go. Put it up. Where's your mouth? Where's your mouth? Put it onto your mouth. Like that, look. Come on, here we go, this one. Open the mouth, yes. Direct your mouth to the Pocari Sweat as it flows down to you. Oh man, that was fantastic. Pocari Sweat, make sure you have your dose. So, back to the race.
That was a good man, Ross, of course, taking you through those moments, and he's been keeping us alive and entertained right through. That's what
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, stick around. You guys, stick around here because we've got a fantastic camera waiting for you. Coming up will be the victory ceremony, but in the meantime, all right, ladies and gentlemen, we are live here at Singapore Sports Hub. We are making a beeline for the best, or looking out for the best dancer award here at the Singapore Sports Hub. Hit the music if you are ready. Let's go. Show us your moves. You are on camera. Dance. Once the camera is on you, you gotta move that body.
To lose ions is to lose my performance. I drink Pocari Sweat, the only drink that resembles my body fluid, quickly replaces my lost ions and locks them in. It takes me to my limit and makes me go beyond it. Pocari Sweat, get your ions back.
Only got one life. This is your moment, whether wrong or right. You're your own enemy, your own enemy.
You ain't by that fast life, 100 on the dash with the cash light. You ain't by that fast life.
Turn your setbacks into comebacks. Safeguard your active lifestyle with PA Assurance.
To lose ions is to lose my performance. I drink Pocari Sweat, the only drink that resembles my body fluid, quickly replaces my lost ions and locks them in. It takes me to my limit and makes me go beyond it. Pocari Sweat, get your ions back.
These are the moments, only got one life. This is your moment, whether wrong or right. You're your own enemy, your own enemy.
You ain't by that fast life. 100 on the dash with the cash light. You ain't by that fast life.
Turn your setbacks into comebacks. Safeguard your active lifestyle with PA Assurance.
Very good morning to you and welcome to the Singapore National Stadium.
Ladies and gentlemen, victory ceremony for the 3,000 meter steeplechase A boys. We'd like to invite Principal of Fuchun Secondary, Mr. Shawal, to present the medals to our deserved champions.
So welcome back to the action here at
Ladies and
Singapore
gentlemen, we
National
start off
Stadium.
with the
It's time
3,000
for
meter
us to start off with
steeplechase
the
A boys
3,000
final,
meters.
4th position from
A
Hwa Chong
division boys
Institution.
final. And here we have,
Gu
of course,
Zi Yi Xian.
fourth place is
3rd position
we
from
just got
Hwa
a view
Chong
of
Institution,
was
Ethan
Gu
Hua.
Zesian. And
2nd position
in
from
3rd
Raffles
position, it was
Institution,
Ethan Lua of
Jonathan
Hwa Chong.
Tan.
Jonathan Tan of Raffles Institution, who
And our
almost won this
champion
race.
from Hwa Chong Institution, Chua Yuan Xin.
And here's Chua Yun Chin of Hwa Chong Institution, who capped it off with a win. He's a happy camper. He pulled it off in style, really. So that's the 3,000 meter steeplechase winners in the boys A division finals. And we will, of course, get on to the next one, which will be the 2,000 meters. And that is, of course, in the B division boys finals. But for now, here is a glory moment for our lads.
And now, the victory ceremony for the 2,000 meter steeplechase B boys.
So the B boys come in next, and here we have it. Elton Low, who really led through most part of that
In
race.
4th position from Anglo-Chinese School Independent, Brandon Pan.
So it's Brandon, of course, who finished. Brandon Pong finished in 4th position.
From
In 3rd position, it
St.
was
Joseph's Institution,
from St.
Dhiran
Joseph's,
Dev
Dhiran
Raja.
Dev Raja. And then, of course, in 2nd position,
2nd place, Hwa Chong Institution,
from Hwa Chong Institution,
Tan
Tan Wei Yi. And finally, we've got our winner, Elgin Low, who led through most part of this race
our
to cap it
champion
off
from
here
Hwa Chong
with a
Institution,
win.
Elgin Lo Jit Yin.
So Elgin Low Jitien, here he is with the winner's medal, the gold. And those are our top 4 lads who finished off in the race. Well, really exciting to have a 2nd and a 3rd runners-up. I really do love that, and that's the beauty of school games. We always encourage the best in our students, so we love that. Time to move on, of course, to the next and the final prize presentation.
And now,
And that'll
victory
cap off our
ceremony
morning's
for the
events as
2,000
well,
meter steeplechase
before we can move on to the
Eagles.
afternoon, where we resume later on.
4th position from Hwa Chong Institution,
So
Hannah
Hannah
Tong
Tong
Lin
in
Yi.
the 2,000 meters steeplechase A division girls final. She finished in 4th.
3rd position from Raffles Institution, Ng Shin
In
Chuan.
3rd, it was Ang Shin Chuan.
2nd position
Second,
from Singapore
Janelle
Sports
Lam
School,
from Singapore Sports
Janelle
School.
Lam Wayan.
She had a good
And
race,
your champion
kept a
from
consistent
Raffles
run too.
Institution,
And-
Ng Rui Shi.
And it's Ang Rei Shi who really capped it off with a fantastic performance in this race. She led extremely well and a very worthy winner. So here we have it. The top 4 in the 2,000 meter
Congratulations,
steeplechase
champions. Thank
girls
you
A
very
division
much.
finals. And we do hope you've enjoyed our
We'd also
coverage
like
of
to
this
say a big
event
thanks
right from the morning.
to
And
our
this, of course, is the
presenter.
83rd
Thank you
Singapore
so
Open
much,
Track and
Shawal,
Field
for
Championships
presenting the medals
2023.
and the awards.
We had, of course, our principal of Fushan Secondary, Shawal, handing out those medals. So that was the morning session. We will, of course, resume all the action just a little past 2:15, and that, of course, happens, just at about 2 o'clock. So that happens with the men's hurdles, which will kick in later on, and that's 100 meters hurdles. For now, it's time for us, of course, to quickly remind you that we will be running this action right through till Friday, the 28th of April. But for now, it's time for a breather. So do get away, get some refreshment, and join us back later at just before 5 minutes before 2 o'clock.